Dzień dobry.
Hello everyone, I'm immensely pleased to welcome you on day 2 of the 5th Vocational Education Forum. Our meeting's motto this year is From Learning to the Labour Market, a new era of vocational education. Please let me remind you that the objective of our meeting is to create a content-filled space to exchange experience and knowledge for professionals in vocational sector-specific education, higher education, business administration, decision makers and stakeholders of European education projects. My task before we start officially is to remind you that you can use simultaneous interpretation. You may find it useful, especially in the second part of the day, and you can pick up your headset at the entrance, and please also mute your mobile phones. Okay, so that was housekeeping, and now officially I would like to ask Konrad Romaniuk, coordinator of the Polish Center for Europass and Euroguidance and EVED, Foundation for the Development of the Education System. Would you please open our session officially? Hi, thank you, Marta, so much for this introduction. A very warm welcome. We had a very intense day yesterday, presentations, debates, and today another day coming just as intense. And there's this reflection that the trainees have. They had this amazing journey to increase their skills, all kinds of skills, in fact. And in just a moment, you are going to hear about it based on Erasmus Plus funds, because they are addressed to vocational education and training. Michał Pachocki with his panelists will address that. And then a reflection where we will be, in fact, in parallel to last year's forum about new emerging technologies. So there will be a representative of the Hungarian team, VT team. She'll tell us about emerging technologies, AI in fact. So that is a bridge between now and last year when we talked a lot about technologies. And then there'll be a gala award presentation ceremony on the main stage, awards in vocational training and advisory. And then we are going to sum up the meeting today and conclude it. But now it's day 2 of this international meeting, and let's consider it open. And I would like to welcome you here and also invite you to be a good ambassador of Skills Poland in this space, looking at what's happening in the main halls. The best presentation, the best video, the best speaker can never tell you what you can see for yourselves. Right here, right now, just once a year, it's a magnificent adventure. So please become this good ambassador of skills, and not just in VT skills, Europass, Euroguidance, but please be that ambassador for the next year, because I'm sure we'll see each other next year. Thank you so much. Michał, over to you. Thank you so much. Got some music going. I think that it won't be exaggerating that day 2 begins with a case study. There will be a presentation to tell you that vocational education is borderless and that careers open that way. Michał Pachocki, PhD, is a coordinator of VT team at Erasmus Plus and the Foundation for Development of the Education System. And in just a moment, we are going to have Euro trainees. So, Michał Pachocki, over to you. Oh, before I ask the Euro trainees and before we work with them, I have a brief presentation so that you know what we are going to talk about. But I'm going to need the remote. All right then. So, also international traineeship. How does it open the path to career? Well, because Erasmus Plus can fund such traineeships. I know that all such meetings at Amber Expo are about mainly vocational education, but I also like to show the other sectors, because Erasmus Plus covers 6 different sectors, and the entities that tap into VET, they can also use other sectors. For example, young people, they can do bottom-up projects, grassroots projects. You can also look into primary, secondary education. Vocational training is done usually by school complexes, and teachers of general subjects are entitled to traveling. We also have lifelong learning centers for vocational training, and these entities can tap into adult education, and we have traineeships for university graduates. They may, they are graduates of vocational schools, and they can follow on to universities and colleges, or they can use the programs in their stage. There's a complexity there at Erasmus. 4 priorities in all our projects. We make sure to always emphasize that inclusivity is important. Green approach, developing digital skills, and also active participation in civic life, agency, promoting democracy, promoting learning about our cultural heritage, civic involvement, knowledge about the EU. And this is very important in this sector, because here we have various types of students, people who may be prone to listening to fake news, not always aware of what's going on in society. That is worth emphasizing, therefore. And you can basically go to any country, mainly EU member states, associated countries, candidate countries. And also outside of the EU, that's what you can do. There's more and more mobility of teachers to China. There's more and more of that. But there are other countries as well. If you have such contacts and such partners, we encourage you to go also beyond the EU and tap into the experience of other cultural contexts and other educational contexts. If you've never yet applied to us, please remember that if you work in vocational education, you don't have to be a vocational school, but you can also apply. Even self-employed people, sole proprietors, as long as you have your own students or trainees, or you work with vocational schools to do projects as part of a consortium. Our participants, these are usually people who are learning, students, but also a learning person is not just a student of a vocational school. It can be someone who learns from an employer in crafts, for example. Dual education is included, so we have such members as well. Of course, the staff, the teaching staff, the faculty, but not just in schools, there are trainers, vocational trainers, all kinds of experts who are mentors and do training. That is very important for people, especially who are preparing students for competitions. And there are, for example, you can get funding for trips to such competitions, not just international traineeships. There's this opportunity, not everyone remembers about it. We keep getting analyzed. We have an analytical team in our foundation, and they keep doing tests on our participants. They send out surveys, and we are in constant touch with the organizations that run projects in our sector. At this point, we are carrying out a study on the influence of mobility on the development of vocational education system in Poland. We know that it may be a little difficult to study, but we do our best. We tested 200 schools in Poland, more or less. We work with other countries which have a similar experience of change in the political systems. Hungary, Czechia, Latvia. There are the other participants. So the questions were asked to head teachers of vocational schools. So that's what I got yesterday. Just yesterday, I got responses that I'd like to share. First, do you agree that international traineeships have a positive influence on educational and career paths of previous participants? You can see that there's a very positive response here. So it's not just the individual dimension, but also in terms of how organizations develop schools, improving the image of schools in the local educational market. These are also important benefits in traineeships. Another question. The teachers of those schools, how do they evaluate the skills of their students? And there are two questions there. How they evaluate the skills and competencies of the graduates who participated and those who didn't participate in those trips. And you can see this greatest disparity between those two groups. Language skills, career skills and cultural competences. So they are closely, very closely connected to mobility. All the schools had a very favorable impression. ICT is maybe the least diverse. There's just 1 percentage point difference. We need to improve that too. And the final question, to what degree do you agree that these traineeships have a positive influence on greater engagement in making schools international? And you can see that there's big competition. It's very difficult to take part in those projects all the time. So because the answer is not quite satisfactory here. If we had more funds, we would probably do more with that. Although 60 million euros is how much we spent last year. And my team does all the clicking to accept the payments. It's quite a lot of money. Before I give the floor over to our Euro trainees, I'd like to tell those of you who have not yet applied or would like to learn more about our program, apart from the Europass that you are probably familiar with, they invited us here to this forum. Please remember that there is an e-Pale platform, a very good tool to increase knowledge about European education. School Education Gateway. There's another platform that is quite a good resource for school education. Twinning. If you don't decide to go abroad, you can always do projects remotely. Our Facebook page, we promote it on every meeting. We have over 1,000 followers. We would like to have more, so please find us. If you want to learn more, there's a video on YouTube. There's a QR code for you there. And now it's a good time to invite Daria and Kamil. Our Euro trainees, Daria Szczepankiewicz, Kamil Orzechowski. Please put your hands together to encourage them. Please take a microphone and check if they work.
Super, działa.
That's great.
W żołnierskim skrócie się przedstawcie. Jak się nazywa?
Please introduce yourselves briefly.
Gdzie się teraz uczycie?
Where you are now studying, where you went for your traineeship, what kind of profession? Daria Szczepankiewicz. I come from Konin, the city of Konin in Poland. My Erasmus trip was to Spain, in Granada. So right now I work with children as a choreographer and dancer.
Super, czyli
great.
zaczynałaś
So you
w
started
programie edukacyjnym,
your career path in an educational program, and now you're an educator yourself, right? Kamil Orzechowski from the city of Częstochowa. I went to Warsaw to study. I study at the Warsaw University of Technology. I do programming and cybersecurity on a daily basis. And I went to Spain and Portugal under Erasmus.
Jak to w ogóle się zaczęło?
Well, how did it even begin
Żeby wyjechać?
that you decided to go for that traineeship? To me, it started in middle school. Two people from Erasmus came and told us about Erasmus. And that's when I became fascinated. In the technical school, they offered a trip for me to go for a traineeship in Granada. I immediately agreed without a thought. It was a little stressful, but these memories will stay with me for a long, long time.
To wyglądało mniej więcej w taki sposób, że starszy brat
The elder brother of a friend from school went to the same technical school, and he put up posts from that trip. So that's how we got interested. And then the next year, I managed to go, and then I liked it, and I went once again the next day. So you went twice, right, for traineeship? Yes, I did.
po 2 tygodnie wyjechać.
Twice for 2 weeks. I had traineeship there.
Trudno w ogóle się było dostać na ten
Was it difficult to get there to successfully apply? What was the recruitment like? Well, we as fourth graders, we had priority. People from the parallel grades, younger than me, because I was in the kind of education that included middle school as well. So, you know, there was people who were after the primary school had to qualify. There were tests, and many people did manage to get
U
in.
mnie wyglądało to tak, że jest
Well,
rekrutacja.
there was recruitment, there was, you know, a list of grades and achievements. The first time I was in a competition for a wild card, and the second time I had sufficient grades. A wild card, what was that about?
Był to konkurs zorganizowany.
It was a competition.
2 takie miejsca.
I think there are 2 such places.
Zorganizowane dla osób, które
The competition was organized for people who had lower
miały
grades,
jakieś umiejętności,
had some skills,
czyli na przykład konkursowe i tak dalej.
maybe in some other competitions, and activity in school life and extracurricular activities.
Żeby była możliwość
And
nadal pojechania na posiadanie jakiejś właśnie
so they
bardzo
could go even if they didn't have very high grades.
tylko tak, że wy
So it's not like only the straight A students will be able to go, but
super.
if you have extra skills, you can go too. That's great. That's a great recruitment approach. Now, once you went for your traineeships
Już do swoich miejsc
and you came to your locations
te zakłady.
and you saw the companies, what were your first impressions,
Pierwsza myśl, która się pojawiła.
your first thought on the first day? I think to begin with, it was just stress.
Może, że się nie dogadamy.
That perhaps we might not really come to terms together with the employers, but hour after hour, it all started getting better and better. And that traineeship was one of the better ones I had.
Moje pierwsze praktyki
My first traineeship,
warsztat komputerowy.
that was a computer workshop,
Jak tam
ICT workshop.
chyba w trójkę.
When we went there, I think there were 3 of us there.
Wchodzimy i widzimy, że
So we came in and we saw a mess, kind of, something chaotic. We weren't sure if it was even the right place, the right thing, but the owner greeted us, said what it was all about. We immediately caught on. We started we had the same language, and it was a very relaxed approach. He showed me how to solder and fix the motherboards, and I never expected that because it wasn't exactly part of our duties.
od siebie.
He did it just like that, just as an extra.
Można powiedzieć,
So we might say that you went outside of your comfort zone, right? At those internships, traineeships. If we were to give some advice to people who are afraid, who think that they would never dare go, what would you say? How do you open to that? Don't be afraid. Really, I was stressed at the beginning too.
I
And the stress was really unnecessary. Now looking back and thinking about how stressed out I was, it's just, you don't need to do that. Young people really need to try. That is one of the best decisions you can take in life. It was for me. And many people will definitely agree with me here. Kamil, will you agree? I do agree. All right then. Okay, so that's advice for you as well. Erasmus is not just for students, it's also for teachers who are involved in vocational education training. If you want to go, just don't be afraid. That's the advice. So you take part in the Europe apprenticeship project. And that is for people who participated in traineeships.
The former participants of traineeships are nominated to be ambassadors to promote professional mobility. What does this part of your activity looks like as ambassadors? Well, Kamil says, first it's showing to basically young people, even primary school students, showing them that there is the possibility of having traineeships, to go elsewhere to see whether the school they would like to apply is within the range of their interests, and check whether they will be able to achieve this place in a school. They can check whether there is a program for them, or maybe that's possibility to have that program organized for themselves. So it's really worth going to such placements, so traineeships, and we are trying to explain to our colleagues to make the programs attractive to those who are considering, who are pondering, but are not sure whether to go or not. Yes, indeed, the girl says. Many people, when I was at the school, our school's open days, many people even didn't know that we have such things as 4 international traineeships based on Erasmus agenda. And I told the people, and many of my colleagues decided to enroll, to go to my school, and just follow the possibility of the experience, which is a very good experience. It's really worthwhile. We have our stand downstairs, close to the stage, and it shows our projects in the VAT sector. And next to us is Euro interns stand as well. It's not only Camila, and it's only Camille and his friends. So if you came with your pupils, with the students, because I know that part of our audience is teachers, we do encourage you to go there, talk to the people, because it's better to it's better to have the direct conversation, to learn things about the internships for a person who knows, who has the experience. Question: How did your traineeships change your lives? Is it the experience for the whole life, or just a short blink of an eye? Answer: well, it's a lifelong experience, because I was a very shy person, unnecessarily stressful, and the Erasmus, which I spent during my secondary school in Spain, opened the perspective to me to become open to new experience. So now my placements, I've got already three Euro apprentices 3 times. Now I am open because it means meeting new people, integration, workshops, many things that change you as a person for the better, positive things. Tell us where you were. Because you said you were already 3 times. First, it was Prague in 2020 in Czech Republic, then Azores 2023, and now in May this year I was in Bucharest in Romania. And what about you, Kamil? I can remember you from one of our trips. Yes,
do Belgii, do
I managed to go to Antwerp in Belgium and visit the Europarliament. And I have recently met a team for Euro apprentices from the Czech Republic and Slovakia in the high Tatra Mountains. Yes, you can see all these things at our Instagram and starting yesterday also TikTok. Yes, I was just about to say that we have just launched our TikTok account and I can see that there's plenty of TikTokers in this room. If you are not a member, have the application installed on your machines and visit the place often. Yes, we are going to be very active on TikTok. Any questions? We've got some time. Okay, if there's a question, I'll go to you with the mic. I'd like to ask Daria, what was your training in the secondary vocational? Sorry, my school was the grammar vocational school in the field of HoReCa, and my Erasmus trip was to a hotel. And Kamil, you said about the place in which you had your traineeship. What was it like with you? And you, Daria? I was not astonished because I really wanted to go to Spain. I was very happy, although a bit anxious. Granada is wonderful, is beautiful. I never thought I would visit the place. Maybe Barcelona, but Granada, Andalusia, magnificent, fantastic place. Anybody else? Any question? Last chance, last opportunity. Yep. Okay, I will hold the mic. Any questions from you? So let me ask the question myself. Do you feel that your traineeship, had it been Poland, your traineeship in Poland would have been different than abroad? Answer, yes. I had a 1-month traineeship in Poland on the sea, and it changed my perspective of the how I view working in Poland. And I think that both my visit to the Polish Sea as well as the Erasmus can be compared, but I think that Erasmus was better because I have even nicer memories. I had good memories from the Polish Sea visit, but Erasmus was really, really nice. Kamil, I had 3 traineeships in Poland, not linked to Erasmus, but I can see the big difference between Erasmus program and other. So if you apply for Erasmus, you reveal that you are eager to learn. In Poland, maybe not everywhere, but some places where it is just pushing many people to one business, one company, and the people are just given task, do this, and then in Poland, and nobody is willing to show more, to go beyond the minimum. Let me add that Erasmus can really replace domestic traineeships. It's 50-50 as for the Polish school in terms of obligatory traineeships. We talked to students to compare foreign and domestic traineeships, and indeed there were some branches, some fields which were in favor for Erasmus. This was the HoReCa area, hotels, tourism, customer service in gastronomical area. In Poland, nobody would give seafood to a pupil to learn how to manage this to customers. In Italy, you can do it. Daria, yes, I must admit that the mode of training was different on the Polish Sea and in Erasmus internships, so there is a difference. Can I ask you, do you plan to develop your professional career in Spain, or are you patriotic people and prefer to stay here? This is the question of the brain, of the drainage of brains. It's a question to both of you.
Ja obecnie właśnie korzystając z tego, że przeprowadziłem się
Well,
do Warszawy, mam właśnie bardzo
using the opportunity that I live in Warsaw, now I've got plenty of job and networking opportunities,
zdalną, choć
which is also the possibility of remote work.
właśnie myślę, że aktualnie
So I believe that at the moment I rather, because I also link studying and working professionally, so I prefer to stay in Poland. Daria also says, yes, me too. And what about your purely theoretical training, comparing the level of Polish education and foreign? Did you feel well prepared, better prepared, or did you feel that you missed something? I must say that my teachers here in Poland, professional teachers, were fantastic. I was really theoretically well prepared, but there was a difference in the methods of teaching professional subjects. It was different in Spain, but overall it was similar.
no, informatyka jest trochę zbyt
For me,
szeroka, żeby
the computer science is too wide an area to
pracę
adjust the work you do and the training you have, because every time I ran across different things, not necessarily strictly related to the subject of my school teaching, but I always met a person who could develop me within a given field, give me some experience, share experience with me. University of Zielona Góra. I'm an expert EVET. Thank you very much. Question to the leader of this: do you make surveys among people who visit Poland for Erasmus, for their traineeships, their replacements? Did you ask them how they feel in Poland, how they value our support? Answer: sorry, we are not dealing with such people. We don't have contact with them, so I am not able to answer the question, because RODO's restrictions do not permit us to do it. So we are not able to make surveys among foreigners. We tried to learn how Polish traineeships are valued by people from abroad. We asked several institutions dealing as mediators in this field, but unfortunately we are not the target country as, say, the south of Europe. Even if we are relatively cheap as for the living standards, we are expensive in terms of servicing this the practice traineeship itself, and people from abroad do not see much added value for traineeships in Poland. But I hope we will be able to change it if we invest in this matter. We are opening new centers, or skill centers, and I hope this will be the opportunity to have the foreign traineeships, more traineeships in Poland. At the moment, it's not so yet, so I cannot answer your question.
Natomiast jeżeli chodzi o studentów,
But as for the students themselves who come to Poland,
nie mam takich danych.
I don't have the concrete, precise data because it's not my sector, but I know that the students who come to have their traineeships under Erasmus, because Erasmus also offers traineeships for academic level students, so if they want to practice their mobility, so overall, foreign students are happy to have stayed in Poland. There were many from them. The more Italian or Spanish students we had, the further then the more professional people seek jobs in Poland. Maybe it's also related to the unemployment rate in those countries. Any other questions? I think that we have finished with this question answer. Any conclusion? Yes. I would like to thank Kamil and Daria to be courageous to appear on stage. It was only a few days ago that I had the idea that if we have some trainees here. So I thank you, and I believe you are very good promoters, ambassadors of the idea. Daria says, thank you very much too.
Brawa za odwagę i przede wszystkim
Applause for your courage and for sharing your perspective, your direct perspective experience with us. I believe that for you, ladies and gentlemen, is really a matter to be thought over. Many things came to my mind. Thank you very much. Let me remind you that up to 11 o'clock we have a coffee break, and afterwards we have the meeting from our Hungarian guest, a lady from Hungary. So if you need, take the equipment for simultaneous interpreting to better understand what our Hungarian teacher guest is going to tell us. Thank you very much.
Cieszę się, że są Państwo z nami po przerwie.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am happy to see you back after the break. Now we have our guest from Hungary, integrating
Prezentację przygotowała Boglarka
Dr. Boglarka Fegetes. She is a specialist in vocational training, and she will speak about strategic.
Is everything okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Stage is yours.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. It is a pleasure to take part in this forum. Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Boglarka Fekete, and I'm working in the field of vocational education and training with a special focus on innovation, digital transformation, and European cooperation. Today, I would like to explore how artificial intelligence and emerging technologies are reshaping VET system across Europe, not only as tools, but as drivers of structural change. We are at a turning point. The European Union is moving through a profound digital transition, reinforced by parallel green commitments. Labor markets are transforming rapidly. New professions are emerging. Traditional roles are evolving, and employers are increasingly demanding digital, technical, and transversal skills. In this context, the VET, the Vocational Education and Training, carries a unique responsibility, unlike general education, that is directly connected to labor market needs, sector-specific skills, and practical competence development. AI and emerging technologies offer opportunities not only to modernize pedagogy, but to ensure that VET system remain relevant, future-proof, inclusive, and responsive to industry needs. Today, I will present the EU strategic and regulatory landscape shaping the integration of AI in education, the concrete ways AI and emerging technologies how to transfer to VET system, the importance of building teachers and institutions' digital competencies, also the most important part, the ethical and regulatory safeguards required under EU law, and how this development align with Europe's broader vision toward a future-ready workforce. Let's begin with the European policy foundations. The European Skills Agenda sets out the EU's long-term vision for skills development. One of its core priorities is equipping citizens with the digital skills needed for the digital transition. This is directly connected to AI because the agenda highlights the need for advanced digital skills in emerging sectors, support for SMEs adopting new technologies, and large-scale skills partnerships under the Pact for Skills. The skills agenda actively encourages VET institutions to innovate, adapt digital tools, and modernize curricula. It also provides funding access through Erasmus+, ESF+, the Digital Europe program for developing digital competence, infrastructure, and updated methodologies. The Digital Education Action Plan, often referred to as the Digital Education Action Plan, is the EU's main strategic framework guiding digital transformation in education system. It has two major pillars. The first one is developing a highly effective digital education ecosystem. This includes infrastructure, connectivity, teacher training, institutional digital strategies, and digital learning platforms. The second one is enhancing digital competencies for the digital transformation. These explicitly includes AI literacy, computational thinking, data literacy, and awareness of AI ethics. For that, the Digital Education Action Plan's relevance is threefold. It pushes institutions to develop digital strategies, not just by devices. It promotes high-quality digital pedagogy, meaning AI should be used educationally, not just technically. It positions digital and AI skills as essential competencies for all citizens, including vocational learners. The AI Act is the world's first comprehensive AI regulation adopted in 2024. It categorizes AI system by risks and applies strict obligations to high-risk areas, including education, because AI systems influencing learners' evaluation, progression, or opportunities can strongly affect their lives. For VET providers, this has major implications. AI must be transparent. Learners and teachers should know when AI is used. AI must include human oversight. Teachers cannot delegate responsibility to algorithms. Datasets must be high quality and bias-free, especially in assessment tools. Institutions must conduct risk assessments when adopting AI-based systems. This regulation will fundamentally influence how VET institutions adopt digital tools. Why the skill agenda and the Digital Education Action Plan give the vision, the DIGCAMP and the DIGCAMP Edu give the practical framework. DIGCAMP 2.2 defines more than 250 examples of digital competencies for citizens, including AI, understanding data management, and online safety. The DIGCAMP Edu defines the digital competencies educators need to design, implement, and evaluate digital pedagogies. For VET professionals, these frameworks ensure that digital and AI competence building is systematic, that technology use is pedagogically grounded, not random, and that institutions can measure progress using self-assessment tools like Selfie. The Osnabrück Declaration sets the European framework for VET modernization. One of its 4 priorities is digitalization of VET systems, including infrastructure, digital tools, and teacher competencies. It also calls for agile VET curricula, stronger cooperation with companies, and VET innovation ecosystems. AI and emerging technologies directly support these goals while enabling workplace relevant training. And the last one is the European education area envisions digital transformation as a cornerstone of quality and inclusion. It supports member states with cooperation platforms, innovation hubs, research networks, cross-border experimentation projects. AI-driven VET innovation often emerges from these cross-national initiatives, especially Erasmus+ projects. This EU-level ecosystem provides both the permission and the obligation to integrate AI and emerging technologies in VET. Now, let's see how this actually transforms teaching and learning. In vocational education and training, learner groups are typically very heterogeneous. Students differ in prior work experience, levels of foundational literacy, numeracy, and digital skills, learning speed, and preferred learning styles, and also has different sector-specific exposure, like prior experience in mechanical work, healthcare, or agriculture. Traditional teaching models, often designed for homogeneous groups, struggle to meet these diverse needs. AI-powered personalized learning offers a structural solution to this challenge. AI system can create dynamic, individualized learning pathways, continuously adapting the structure and content of the learning process. Learners who progress quickly through theoretical modules can move into practice-oriented content earlier. Learners who need more foundational work receive targeted preparatory materials, and these pathways can integrate prior learning, micro-credentials, or informal skills, supporting lifelong learning approaches promoted in EU policies. Adaptive system analyze how learners respond to tasks and adjust difficulty automatically. In a technical VET like CNC robotics, tasks can escalate from simple parameter settings to complex multi-step procedures. In service-oriented VET like hospitality, retail, role-play scenarios can become progressively more complex. AI-driven learning analytics enable instructors to monitor performance in real time. Dashboards show skill mastery, error patterns. Predictive analytics can identify learners at risk of disengagement or dropout. This represents a major improvement over traditional assessment cycles, which often detect problems too late. Once challenges are identified, AI can recommend remedial training paths, micro-learning activities focusing on specific skills, practice simulations tailored to repeated errors, additional teacher or tutor support, or differentiated tasks for learners with special education needs. AI-powered personalized learning directly supports the EU strategic directions by enhancing learning equity, a key priority under the European Skills Agenda, improving digital pedagogy, as highlighted in the Digital Education Action Plan, preparing learners for digitalized labor markets, aligning with Union of Skills and the European education area, supporting competence-based VET system modernization as promoted in the Osnabrück Declaration. In other words, personalized AI systems are not just technological innovations, they are mechanisms for achieving EU-wide education and labor market goals. Simulations are especially important in VET because much of VET learning involves psychical, technical, and manual competencies. Thanks to VR and AR, VET institutions can now train learners safely in hazardous environments like firefighting, operating heavy machinery, reduce material costs, increase opportunities for practice, repeatable scenarios, for example, provide experiences that would otherwise be impossible or too expensive. In health, engineering, automotive, agriculture, and hospitality, simulations are revolutionizing how students practice skills. These align with the Digital Europe program and the EU industry strategies promoting Industry 4.0 and digital twins. AI supports both formative and summative assessment. For instance, computer vision can analyze wedding quality or hairdressing movements. NLP-based tools can evaluate communication skills. AI tutors can provide immediate feedback on practical tasks. These tools give learners more feedback than teachers alone can provide. However, and this is key, under the AI Act, any AI that influences certification must be transparent, reliable, and supervised by humans. Increasingly, workplaces use smart, connected equipment, machines with sensors, robotics, IoT dashboards. If that institutions stay analog while workplaces go digital, learners face a skill mismatch. Embedding smart devices into training environments ensures realistic work simulations, up-to-date training aligned with employer needs, digital readiness for Industry 4 and 5.0 roles. Even basic IoT sensors in an agricultural vet program can teach real-world skills like monitoring soil, livestock, or energy systems. We all know about generative AI. Generative AI provides enormous support to educators, especially in multilingual or resource-constrained settings. It can generate customized case studies or role-play scenarios, translate technical content into multiple languages, draft the initial version of learning materials, support inclusion by providing simplified or adapted content. The EU emphasized ethical and transparent use. Teachers must review and validate AI-generated content. These technological opportunities bring us to the next critical question: are vet teachers ready? No matter how advanced the technology is, successful integration depends on teachers. Teachers must be able to understand how AI tools work, select appropriate methods, integrate them into pedagogy, ensure data protection and ethical use, and support learners' digital competencies. The EU recognizes this. That's why DigComp Edu and Selfie for Teachers were created. DigComp Edu provides a comprehensive and structured framework consisting of 6 areas and 22 competencies that describe what educators need in order to teach effectively in a digital age. For vet teachers in particular, this framework is extremely relevant because it connects digital pedagogy with workplace-relevant teaching practices. Let me walk you through the structure shown on the diagram. The image visualizes the 6 interlinked competence areas of DigComp Edu. They are arranged in a symmetric structure showing how teachers' professional competencies pedagogic competencies, and learners' digital competencies all interconnect. The first section is the orange section, the professional engagement. This area highlights teachers' ability to use digital tools for collaboration, professional growth, and communication, not only with colleagues, but also with companies, social partners, and with stakeholders. The second section is the green section, the digital resources. This area concerns teachers' capacity to select, create, adapt, and manage digital learning resources. The blue section is teaching and learning. The central area reflects the teacher's ability to implement digital pedagogy effectively. It includes orchestrating technology-supported learning processes, designed blended or virtual learning pathways. So this is the pedagogic core of DComp Edu and directly links to the modern vet training practices. The Turkish section is the assessment. This area focuses on the meaningful use of the digital tools to track learner progress, analyze performance, conduct digital and practical assessments, and use AI-supported analytics to identify strengths and weaknesses. The purple section is empowering learners. This area emphasizes inclusiveness and accessibility. Digital tools can support personalized learning pathways, differentiation for varying ability levels, accessibility for learners with special education needs, learner autonomy, and motivation. For vet sector, empowering learners means helping them build confidence in using digital and technical tools they will encounter in workplaces. And the red section is facilitating learners' digital competence. This area highlights a critical responsibility. Teachers must help learners build their own digital competencies. In that, this includes teaching safe and responsible use of workplace technologies, supporting learners in developing transversal digital skills, like data handling, digital communication, preparing them for increasingly digitalized labor markets. So the diagram visually demonstrates that the left side emphasizes the teacher professional competencies, the center focuses on pedagogical competencies for teaching digitally, and the right side represents how these competencies ultimately contribute to learners' digital readiness. Institution, even the most motivated and digitally competent teachers cannot drive meaningful digital innovation alone. Digital transformation in VET requires strong institutional capacity, strategic planning, and system-level support. This includes robust digital infrastructure, connectivity devices, secure platforms. Institutional digital strategies aligned with the Digital Education Action Plan also. Leadership that drives and sustains innovation. Clear policies for data protection, GDPR compliance, and cybersecurity. Strategic partnership with companies, training centers, and also technology providers. To support institutions in assessing and improving their digital maturity, the European Commission has developed SELFIE, the self-reflection on effective learning by fostering innovation through educational technology. This is a free evidence-based tool used across Europe and beyond. The image visualizes that the scale and the global reach of the SAFI platform, demonstrating how widely it is used to guide digital transformation in education. You can see that more than 44,000 schools from 88 different countries use SAFI. So this is not a pilot or experimental tool. It is being used extensively across a wide range of educational contexts, including WET institutions. The infographic reinforces a key message. Digital transformation is not an isolated effort. It is supported by structured, scalable, internationally recognized tools. Ethics is not an additional topic. It is a core requirement. European guidelines emphasize human-centeredness, transparency, accountability, non-discrimination, inclusion, privacy, and security. In that, where practical skills often influence employability, these principles are particularly important. Under the AI Act, most AI systems used in education fall under high risks if they influence learners' evaluation or opportunities. This means that institutions must ensure data quality and representativeness, maintain documentation and logs, provide human oversight, ensure robustness and accuracy, identify and mitigate risk. This is not optional, it is legally required. ECOVAT, the European Quality Assurance Framework for VET, offers a systematic cyclical structure to help VET institutions continuously monitor, evaluate, and improve the quality of their training provision. As we integrate AI and emerging technologies into vocational education, it is essential that these tools are embedded within the same quality assurance cycle, not treated as its own or isolated pilots. The infographic on the slide illustrates the 4 stages of the ECOVAT quality assurance cycle, and we can use it as a guide to understand how AI should be integrated responsibly and strategically. Learners must understand how AI tools work, their benefits and limitations, risks related to privacy bias or misinformation, and how to evaluate outputs critically. This is now considered a basic competence essential for employability. The integration of AI and emerging technologies is not only about pedagogy, it is a strategic contribution to Europe's competitiveness and sustainability. VET institutions play a key role by preparing the workforce for digital and green jobs, supporting SMEs in adopting digital solutions, contributing to innovation ecosystems, promoting social inclusion through accessible digital learning. This diagram represents the European Skills Index developed by CDFOP, which provides a comprehensive framework to measure how effectively European countries develop, activate, and utilize skills in their labor markets. It integrates multiple dimensions of education, training, employment, and skills matching. The index is structured into 3 main pillars, each consisting of several sub-dimensions and indicators. The red section is skills development. This pillar measures how well countries equip individuals with skills through formal education and training systems. This pillar reflects the overall quality and inclusiveness of education systems. Countries with strong early education, solid upper secondary outcomes, and active adult learning tend to show higher scores. The presence of digital skills and web participation signals readiness for modern labor markets. The orange section is skills activation. This pillar assesses how effectively countries transition people into employment and ensure that they participate in the labor market. Skills activation measures whether people are moving from education into work and staying active in the labor force. High youth transition and high activity rates indicate successful integration into employment system. High numbers of early leavers weaken activation performance. And the last section is the blue section, namely skills matching. This pillar evaluates how well available skills are aligned with job requirements in the economy. Skills matching reflects the efficiency of labor markets, low unemployment, fewer workers in low wages relative to qualifications, and fewer mismatches signal well-functioning systems where people's skills meet employer needs. High mismatch reduce competitiveness and productivity. When viewed through the index framework, it becomes clear why AI enhanced WET emerging technologies matter. The first one is strengthening skills development. AI tools, simulations, and personalized learning can improve learning outcomes, digital skills, and WET relevance, directly boosting the skills development pillar. AI, for the second one, is improving skills activation. AI supporting career guidance, early warning system for dropouts, and digital apprenticeships help learners transition faster and more effectively into jobs. And the third one is enhancing skills matching, better labor market intelligence, AI-driven forecasting, and data-based curriculum design ensure that programs align with employer needs, reducing skills mismatch. So the framework underscores that modernization and AI integration are not optional, but essential for strengthening Europe's ability to develop, activate, and match skills effectively in a changing labor market. To conclude, the integration of AI and emerging technologies into WET is no longer futuristic. It is happening now. And the EU provides a strong regulatory and strategic foundation for it. The challenge is turning this potential into quality, ethical, inclusive practice. And this requires collaboration between educators, policymakers, companies, and learners also. So thank you for your attention. The time is over, but you can see my email address. And if you have any questions or comments, or you would like to get my presentation, write me an email and I will answer. Have a great remaining part of the day, and thank you very much.
Thank you for interesting speech. Czy mają Państwo jakieś pytania do naszej gościni?
Do you have any questions? Thank you, by the way, for a very interesting speech. Yes, we have one question.
Good morning, and thank you for this interesting presentation. My name is Konrad Romaniuk. I represent Polish National Guidance and Europass Center. Thanks a lot. This was interesting input, and before you were present with us here, I was making a little bit of introduction in the beginning of the day 2 of our conference, saying that this is going to be your presentation, as well as the rest of the day, will be a little bit of reconciliation of the 4th forum we had about a year ago, when we were talking a lot about technology, machine learning, AI, of course in the learning and labor market context, as we do in usual. And if there would be a chance to ask you for a little bit of a reflection, what actually has gone forward in terms of learning and education using AI and technology features, as far as you know, including European AI Act and other significant things mentioned just before, in this year, especially in a perspective of next month that, in my opinion, it's going to be operationalized further, but I'm really curious about your point of view about this matter. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Thanks. Yes, so what about the feedbacks? I am also the teacher in vocational education and training, and we also use these tools in our institution. But, you know, to integrate AI into the VET system, I think in Hungary also, we are in the starting point that there are so many AI tools that we should integrate in the VET system. But we, firstly, that I can say that what are the feedback that learners can do more so learners are most motivated to use AI than teachers, that can be said. So we have a lot of European Union's tools and recommendations, but firstly we have to push through the into the teacher's way. You know that I mentioned that the teachers are crucial to integrate their into their subject teaching methods. Also, the institution has to integrate these AI tools. And I was in a conference in last days, and I heard about really good examples from other teachers that how can we use effectively the AI tools with the students. They mentioned some really good examples. So I don't know how, so I am not a researcher, just the teacher who integrate also in my subjects the AI, like Canva. We have some robots also, and we can use it in our teaching institution. But the market is rapidly grow, so we should keep step with the market, the labor market needs. So teachers has a really crucial roles in this.
Thanks a lot. Any disagreements from the room? Please, let's quarrel. Let's discuss. We have the special time just for that.
Thank you.
No? Okay. Thanks a lot. Enjoy the day, and thank you for being with us today. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Dziękujemy bardzo serdecznie. Ja przypomnę,
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. It was Dr. Bogdarka Fekete, PhD from the Vocational Training and Integration Center in Hungary. Thank you very much that you are with us. Now there is the time for you to go and go to visit the Skills Poland area, so visit the space. But please, before that, will you please kindly fill certain questionnaire? I previously asked you to mute your phones. Now, please take your phones and can you scan the QR code, which is on our screen, and under that you'll find a tool, a questionnaire evaluating our forum. We will be really grateful for any opinion. I am happy to see that you're already copying the QR code.
jeszcze raz poprosimy
And again, code again, please, on the screen. Thank you.
tych błyskawicznych.
Because previously it was only for the really fast workers. 1:15, you are invited to the main stage.
W scenie głównej
And there we will see each other in the space in the exhibition area, area B, where Skills Poland are showing their things. We have a gala summing up our meeting.
wręczać nagrody.
We will distribute some awards in the third edition in the competition for
Doradztwo
in Euro guidance competition for job advisors.
teraz
And
przestrzeni.
so please feel invited to Skills Poland.
Przypominam, 13:15.
And please remember, 1:15, we see each other at the main stage area. Welcome. Thank you.